Well, hello YouTube, this is the Badass Mojo, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how does Grinning Specter work. So if you're planning on using this card, it is really fun. I have never had this much fun in like past 2 months since I started using this card. I love this card so much because it's basically like having a Fang Mouse ultimate, but a homing Fang Mouse ultimate with any hero. So basically the way this card works is that when you get this card, you'll have a active part of this card, and it will cost you 100 mana. So let's just say you get in a fight with an enemy, you can use this card to deal damage with the or to the enemy, which will do 350 damage. But what you want to do is when you fight the enemy, you make sure that you fire this card at last. So the reason why I say that is because it has a active part to it where it says if the enemy falls below 20% of their max health, they just die, because when the card hits them, it'll make them like kill them basically. So the way it works is, let's just say if an enemy has 1,000 health, like exactly 1,000 health, you start fighting them, right? Once you start fighting them, all you have to do is make them go down to half of their health, like 500 of their health. The reason why I say that is because when you use this card, when they're at 500 health and you use this card, the card will follow them, and when the card hits them, it would hit for 350 and will make their health go down to 150, because 350 minus 500, or 500 minus 350 is 150, which is below 20% of their max health, because 20% of 1,000 is 200. So if their health falls below 20% of their health, it will kill them. So if an enemy has 500 health left and you use this card, it would basically kill them, unless they can health regen really quickly, or some way like ignore it, because you can run away from this card. But keep in mind, it can kill you anywhere if you stop. So basically, if an enemy runs away from it and stops on their base and they don't regen enough health, so where it doesn't surpass like 500 health, they will still die, because if the card hits them and their health falls below 20% of their health, they just die. So basically, the only ways you can ignore this card, or like ignore the death, is by either getting a lot of health regen from or not stopping, or having another hero come in front of it and take the damage for you, or have some invincibility ability. For example, Countess's invincibility when she blinks, or the other chick's ability to go invincible for a second. There are some abilities that can ignore it also, like shield from steel. He can block it with his shield. Any overshields can take the damage and it won't kill the enemy, because overshields, unless it does more damage than the overshields themselves, that way they can still die. So let's just say if a Fang Mao has 100 health and you hit this card and he like overshields himself for 200, if the card hits him for 350, he will die. So basically, he would still get killed. What else? There are, oh yeah, what's his name? Revenant's ultimate can ignore. So if you fight, if you fight the Revenant and you shoot this projectile at him in the regular form, if he ultimates you, he goes to a different realm or dimension, and that way the projectile won't hit him because he is in a different plane. So yeah, he can also ignore it. So keep in mind, when you're using this card, what you want to do is fight the enemy. Just fight them a little bit, and when they go back to their base, or when they're running back from you, just fire at them. Don't like when you're using this, make sure that they're not facing you so they won't notice the card. It is really good early game, and the way I like to use it, I would go into a fight, right? I'll stun the enemy, or use my most powerful ability, use his card, and just run back and just like ignore the enemy. If they don't notice it, they will just die, because people don't expect this card. I've never seen a lot of people use this. I've only seen one person use this, and that's after I started using it. I think he was in my previous match. He noticed me using the card, so he thought it would be fun for him to use it as well. But he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He was just shooting at people anywhere, like with full health. It was kind of funny. So Yeah, use this card like wisely. Make sure that your enemy is not facing the card, or when you're shooting at them, they don't notice it. Because if they do notice it, they can run away from it because it's really really slow. Or they could somehow block it with their abilities if they're a certain hero. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and good luck using this card. I love this card because it is so amazing. It follows the enemy across the map. It doesn't care where they are. It doesn't care if they're on their base, they're teleporting, they're like invisible. It doesn't matter what they are. As long as it's locked onto them, it would keep on following them. Unless they, again, use any abilities to like block it or over shields or regen enough health to like take the damage. So those are the only ways you can basically stop it. I like to use it on steel because what I basically like to do is ultimate the enemy, like use my ultimate on them because they can kind of ignore my backhand shield because they can see it coming. But when I ultimate them, they get stunned. I hit them a couple of times, use the card, backhand them because it would make them slow down or get stunned for enough time so the card could hit them, and they would just die. That's like one way I like to use it. Or what I would do is shoot a rock at the enemy or throw a rock on the enemy and basically use the card and use my ultimate on top of them as Gideon. And when they're stunned under my ultimate, the card would come slowly and hit them and they'll just die. So those are like two ways. I've been using them on every hero, to be honest. There are a lot of ways that I like to use it, but I'm not going to go into details on how to use the card. I'm just telling you what it does. So I mean, it's basically the same thing. You can figure out what to use and what to not use on, like what hero to use and what, because it's really, really fun on like very different heroes. So Kalari can use it. She can go invisible, hit him a couple times, use the card and just backflip out of there. It's really, really fun. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and yeah, peace.